a mess. So I kind of kicked Mark out and the dogs and the back room so that I can have the big room.
Oh, no worries. It's just me. You should see this that you can't see.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and lay down and let's just let our backs come to the mats here. And go ahead and just let your arms open up just like you just are letting everything go. You're going to feel that your palms are up. Your fingers just lightly curl because that's just what they're naturally going to do right now, because we're not stiffening up. We're not clasping our hands. We're just letting go. And what I'm only going to ask you to do is tuck your shoulders in just a bit so that your heart comes up. And then I'm going to tuck my chin just a bit too so that our necks are nice and straight coming out of our spine, okay? And then finding the heaviness right now, at least for me, is on my hips, on my shoulders. My feet are about a hip's distance, and I'm just going to leave them there for now, for the beginning, as we find our breath. Your lower spine may or may not be attached to the mat. It's okay. We're letting ourselves just relax here. So may not be pulling down your navel right now deep into the mat. So just take in and out from your nose, slowly coming into your breath, down into your belly. Bringing in that slow motion of our breath. It's going to quiet our minds, quiet the hustle and bustle of the day. And not just quieting our physical bodies, but it's going to quiet our mental mess sometimes that we have. Our minds jotting off one place to another. It's also going to help, because of that physical and mental relaxation and calming, it's going to calm our emotions. Maybe the excitement or the worry that you had with, your mom and the care that you have for her, that responsibility. And a little bit of sadness, mixed, bittersweet, having had time with your son, and then, of course, letting him go. And then the tiredness. A lot of times our bodies are just so active that we forget how really fatigued and worn out we are. So let's continue to take some real deep breaths into our body, into every cell of our body. I'm not going to sing this song to you. It's a cute little song, but I'll say the words. I'm in a song circle and we sang this song last night. And I'll just say it as you breathe and think about your breath and the nice nourishing oxygen coming in to feed every cell of your body. Make it happy. So the song words are, every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad. Every little cell in my body is happy and well. And since it is just you and me, I will sing it and breathe. Okay? So just relax if you can with my screechy voice. Taking the breath in and out of your belly. And I'll sing it a couple times. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad. Every little cell is happy and well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad. Every little cell is happy and well. So keep breathing in to the wellness of each of your cells in your body. That's really what we do when we breathe. And when we move with our yoga practice and we move with our breath, we're also moving our vascular system so that it's cleansing and reaching out to every little end of our fingertips and our toes and the end of our nose and into our ears and all of our extremities. And we're also moving when we're moving with our breath, we're moving our lymphatic system. And as you know, that does not move on its own. We have to move. So we will do some movement tonight, but it's going to be nice and light and easy, loving. We're going to practice one of the 8 limbs of yoga, which is called ahimsa. Ahimsa is meaning non-violence. Non-violence to ourselves so that we can practice non-violence to others. So now we'll go ahead, since we've worked into the cells of our body with our breath. Let's take our knees together and move your feet out towards the edges of your mat so that we have a tent here. This is a real restorative pose here. It just lets us know that now even our legs don't have to take any kind of action here because the knees are supporting us. When we do that, the lower spine, that lumbar area, may even pull away a little bit more from the mat area. The chin stays nicely tucked as we make sure that those little tiny cervical vertebrae are nicely aligned and not being stressed by having our chin pulled up or cut down too much. And I want you to just notice where the weight is right now on your body. As you breathe, notice the weight. It's not on the top of our shoulders, pushing down and weighing us down like the rushing of our day does to us. We're really letting go to the earth, saying thank you to the earth for the love and the support that it gives us so that we can move from one place to the other. Actively, solidly, firmly, completely, securely. And in this nice repose here, this restorative pose, we're going to I'm going to be quiet, and we're going to take 8 to 10 slow, deep, full breaths. We take a few more breaths here. Just relax your facial muscles as well. Take your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Let's take 2 more. Keeping ourselves happy and well. And then begin to walk your feet in rows so they come and touch one another. Your knees are still connected. And just before we go into the next asana, pull your navel down into your spine and flatten out that opening, that curve we had in the lumbar spine. And that is just to bring a little energy into our core and also to relieve ourselves. It's good to have that kind of just letting go, but it's also good to bring back that counter action as well. So let's take some strength right now into our core. Let's let our legs and feet, thighs, everything squeeze together as you push down deeply into that lumbar region of your spine. Push down into your core and engage. Come into the muscles, the little tiny fibers in the muscles in our abdomen. Squeezing those in. While we're here, we might as well squeeze the glutes as well. Finding contraction. We just totally relaxed everything. Now we're taking it back into a contracted mode.
I squeeze the knees too?
Yes. Squeeze everything in. And then exhale. Ooh, release. Let that curve come back into your spine. And now open up your knees and let your hips open. Now, this could be a lot for you. Your one block, if you want to use it underneath one side of your thigh and the other block of the other side, or you can let your hands be kind of supporting the outside of your thighs, or if you're okay, just see what gravity does with letting your hips open. We're not going to press our feet together strongly. They're touching each other. And my curve in my lower spine has increased. I don't know about yours, but mine really opens up when I'm in this butterfly position. So it's called reclined butterfly, or sometimes it's called reclined cobbler's pose. And then it has a Sanskrit name also. And so let's breathe into our bellies here too, either supporting our outside of our thighs if this gets to be a little bit much. Sometimes I can take my hands and make them into fists and put them right towards the top of my outer thighs. And that will give a little support there if it just gets to be a little bit too much for opening up your thighs or your hips like this. And again, we want this to be really restorative. So if you feel any squeezing into your glutes, release there. Feel any squeezing into your abdominal area, release that as well. Again, only thing that maybe take attention to is bringing in your shoulders a little bit more into a bit of a close range so that your heart can lift and your chin can look downward a bit. See if you can raise that belly up really high. And let's take a few 5 to 6 slow full breaths here. One more here. And then let's slowly, taking our hands to the outside of our thighs, slowly let our knees come back together, our feet come flat. And let's take that curve out of our spine one more time. Take your hands onto your lower abdomen. Push down into your navel point there so that you really feel you flattened out curve in the spine. Again, we just want to take the spine back because we let it release for so long. We want to make sure it knows what it's like to be in that opposite direction as well. Still breathing here though. And then release your hands down. Let's pick both feet up and just bring your knees up towards your chest. And we're not going to hold on right now to our legs. We're just going to see how much of our bent knee and our thigh and all the legs there. And we're kind of have them pulled together, but not squeezing together. My hands stay outreached. And I just let more weight come into my hips here. You can take and activate your navel area if you want to. You can just leave everything like this. So right now we're not really pulling anything in. We're just seeing what happens with our own weight. Then let's take our legs long towards the ceiling, toes towards the ceiling. We might have a slight bend in the knees because we don't want to take too much stretch into the back of the hamstrings yet, because we really are keeping things really gentle. So the hips are weighted down, the knees may be a little bit bent. You can separate your feet and legs about hips distance, and that might feel good too. And this is a really good one for just helping to become relaxed and restored. We're letting the blood kind of flow. It's still flowing, obviously, the way it's supposed to, but this just kind of lets it be a little bit relaxed so it doesn't have to always be pumping so hard against gravity.
Chin to the neck?
What's that?
Chin to the neck still?
Yes, still have your nice long cervical spine here. And so this would be, this is a good one to do with your feet up against a wall. Sometime when you can do that, it feels really good, and then it's even more restorative because we don't have to hold our legs up if the wall is doing that. And then little by little, Rose, only if it feels good, you can begin to separate your legs out a little bit. So you're maybe in a V, and you're just opening up that inner part of your upper thigh there into that groin area. And again, no forcing. Still, chin stays a bit tucked, so I'm kind of looking downward here. let gravity work here for you. And you'll just maybe notice, okay, my V might be getting a little bigger, but it's not because I'm forcing it. I'm just letting. I'm letting my legs open to just a place that feels perfectly right for me. I may bend into my knees a little bit more if that feels even better than having the straight legs. If I want to, my hands can come up and take a hold to the side of my knees a bit here and just holding my legs in that position that is where I want to be. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and take some gentle ankle rotation. As I do that, I'm going to feel my shin and my calf working a bit here, but not overdoing it and just reversing. They don't have to be big circles. You may not even want to have circles. Coming to stillness. Again, it feels good for me to have my elbows bent and my hands on the outside of my knees and just holding my legs in space like that. Let's take 3 or 4 breaths here.
Yeah, when I breathe, do I expand my stomach consciously? And then when I inhale, I contract? Let it happen.
So, inhale. Just, you're kind of letting it happen, but you also want to be aware that your inhale is long enough to make that belly rise. And then your exhale lets your belly sink. So we're still elongating those breaths so that maybe every inhale is 3, 4, 5 seconds. Every exhale is at least as long or maybe longer. And then let's go ahead and bring our legs back together slowly. Let's our knees bend again back in. And this time, let's take our hands and interlace our fingers right over our shin area. And we don't need to pull very hard here, but just put a little bit of weight. Take your chin and tuck and look down towards your knees there. Maybe pointing the toes or just letting the feet relax. What I'd like you to feel here is that base of your pelvic area all the way down to your tailbone grounded. And we're not accentuating too much into the bicep strength here, like a lot of times I'll say to do in our other classes, because we really want to just again take this nice and easy. And then go ahead and let your hands come down, open them up, palms up, let your feet come to the ground. Let's take the right foot off the ground and come over and cross over your left leg. And that left foot is kind of centered, right? So we're going to work into a twist. We haven't done a twist yet today, so we're going to do it nice and gentle. I'm going to take my arms out at my shoulder. Oh, this is really relaxing me. Just had a good yawn. And my arms on his shoulder. And I'm going to slowly, with control, I don't want to just drop my knees to the left, but I want to slowly let them come over to the left, maintaining control here, only going as far as my twist wants to take me. And I look over my right arm, and I let one of my feet the one that's crossed over, I let it ground down to help support that twist. And I want to just stay here and breathe, not forcing into the twist. And as I look over my opposite hand, my right hand here, my right arm, I'm giving myself a nice little gentle opening with that left side of the neck there. Taking 2 to 3 breaths here. Again, yes, those bellies are expanding and contracting. Even in the twist. Next time, pull in at your navel and let your core and your obliques help you lift your knees back up so that they are coming straight up towards your ceiling. And then we're going to release your legs down to the right. And your gaze comes over your left arm now, left shoulder. And again, maybe just letting yourself come down. If you won't come down as far, perhaps, you're going to feel that opening in a different part of your hips and legs. You know, let gravity do the work. We don't have to do anything, but let gravity let us sink. Now we're going to engage, pull in at your navel, and assist with abdominal strength to lift those legs back up to center. And let's switch out our leg throws. My right foot comes to the ground, kind of in the center. My left leg crosses over. My chin stays tucked. Inhale long here. And exhale, let's take our knees over to the right. My top foot finds the ground. And it just lets myself come over to wherever feels right for my twist as I look over my left shoulder. Breathing here. And then take with your core, your obliques, and take that lift on up. That's an inhale. Let your exhale relieve your legs to the other side, right, or coming over to the left. And gazing to the right. Take my deep, full, slow belly breath. And inhale, go ahead and lift back up. Then release the top leg down. And I think we've done happy baby before. That's really restorative. Go ahead and take your feet with bent knees towards the ceiling. And open up your knees so they come wider than your shoulders. And let's just hang here for a bit before we utilize our arms. My arms are still hanging out at that shoulder distance there. And letting my knees maybe bend a little bit more and just let whatever gravity wants to do happen here. Chin still tucked, belly still breathing. And if you like, you take your hands up and find any part of your lower leg and hold on there. Or if your hands, you want to go into happy baby a little bit more and bend your knees more and take your hands to the outside of your feet. You may not want to go there. You may just want to support your hands somewhere on your lower part of your leg. Yeah, this is nice because again, we're compressing into our tailbone and our whole pelvic area is feeling weighted down here. Our legs are opening up, feeling this nice release. And only if you want, I like to just take and roll left and right a little bit, just playing with the happy baby. Again, maybe not holding on to my feet if that seems like a kind of a large extension for this relaxation. Maybe I'm just holding on to my ankles, my shins, and my knees, and rocking and massaging that pelvic area. Now breathe. And then coming down to stillness. Let's go ahead and place our feet down on the ground. Hands come towards your heels. And in a nice, non-aggressive, non-contracting, non-assertive way, we're just going to gently do bridge pose, right? So feet are on the mat, fingers go towards your heels. Keep your chin tucked. This is where I'll often remind you all, make sure there's no weight on your neck here. It's in your shoulders and your feet. We're just going to gently come up a little bit from our hips. They've been grounded a lot. So we're going to lift up just a bit, make that bridge, pose from our knees to our tucked chin, and then slowly release each vertebrae coming in contact with the mat. So this is not so restorative, but it is very helpful for our spine. It's not restorative because we're pulling away from gravity as we lift our hips off the ground. And we're doing that with breath, right? So my inhale takes up, my chin is tucked. My exhale takes you down, each vertebrae finding its home on the mat. Keep going. I'm not going to speak for a while. I just want you to feel the motion in your breath. And just tune in to what your body is feeling as you do this. You don't have to come up too high. Just bring yourself in this nice little flowy way. Now I'm finally going to be quiet. Let's do 2 more sets, Rose. And then finding your back nice and flat there. Let's take your hand towards me and raise it up over your head and roll towards me in a fetal position and just find your bicep, maybe planting your ear upon it, and find that nice settling in here to a fetal position, also really restorative here. Just closing our eyes and breathing. Let's do 2 more. Pushing that belly out, making ourselves happy with big full breaths. And then let's slowly begin to bring ourselves up into a seated position, slowly rising up so that we don't get a head rush here. If you have a blanket, you want to sit on it, you can. We're going to just let our legs open in a comfortable place. And maybe your knees are bent still. Might not be ready to extend your legs all the way out. Just find wherever is comfortable for you to sit, knees bent or straight. We're going to just do a little bit of side opening and some breath. So right now I have my legs kind of in a V, but if you're comfortable seated in a cross-leg position, just whatever, I want you to really choose that for yourself. But the one thing we're going to need to do now, because we're not laying on our backs, is to use our sits bones, no matter how our legs are, and our core to bring ourselves into that straight, upright spine. If you had a wall, this would be nice to go against the wall and just, again, be restored there with the wall holding you up. But since we didn't start that way, we're just going to have ourselves hold ourselves up. Take your hands out to the side. I'm on my fingertips here. And I'm going to breathe my arms up, inhale, just into a V. I'm going to exhale my hands down, tuck in my chin to my chest. Breathing my hands up, palms up into that V. Taking my hands down slowly, palms down, chin comes. Find that movement for yourself with your breath.
My body wants to sway back.
Yes, it does. You have a lot of furniture in that room, I noticed. Do you have a wall that's available? So in another class, if I use the wall, would you have a wall that was available to you?
I
Just
could,
a little bit of space. You wouldn't need a lot.
I could find a spot. I'd have to find a spot.
I'm looking behind you, up against that wall. There's that a chair that I see. Yeah. That little space might be good. Let's do that 2 more times. And you're right, you're going to notice that because, again, that's that core strength. Bring ourselves back up.
Yeah.
And exhale down. And let's go ahead. I think you have your legs in a V too, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's bend one knee and bring the sole of your foot to your inner thigh there. And just take your hands down and lift your hips off the ground, and then bring them back so you can feel where those sits bones are. Okay. And let's work on straightening out that spine again. So maybe I'm going to take my hand to my bent knee to help support me here in that straight spine. And the other leg is elongated, or maybe I've bent into that knee a little bit because it's just a little bit too much to elongate. And I want to go ahead and do a twist here, Rose. So take your hand. I bent my right knee, so I'm taking my left hand to my right knee. So just cross over. Your other hand goes behind you, kickstand down. And then you're going to feel your torso lift, right? And you're going to be straight. And then begin to look away from me, look towards the back, over the back shoulder. Coming into this nice twist, which is going to help to alleviate a lot of the stress we have stores in our digestive tract. That nervous stomach, upset stomach, acid reflux, all of that. So we need to twist and get rid of some of that excess stuff there. And then go ahead, slowly release with your head, shoulders, and coming around to sit again on our sits bones. And we're going to take the other hand. So it's my right hand crossing to my left knee. I'm going to press down behind me again. Find that length in my spine. Push down right at your tailbone. Lift yourself up. And then go ahead, taking the twist on the other side. And then let ourselves relax and come back forward here. And let's switch out our legs. My right leg's going to extend, my left leg's coming in, the sole of my left foot to the inside of my right thigh. And if that's a lot on your knee, you can lower that foot anywhere, just so there's a little bend in that knee if that feels right for you. I'm also going to take my fingers down, lift myself up, and see if I can place my sits bones back down nicely and evenly there. Then I'm going to see how I can sit up straight and tall without, before I go into my twist. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my right hand over to my left, extending out through that long leg, push down behind me. Lift up here, and then go ahead, start to take yourself over your back shoulder. And slowly coming back around, finding ourselves forward, finding ourselves with our own straight spine because of our strong core, and then taking and crossing my left hand to my right knee, right hand push down right behind me. Be nice and long, and then come into that little twisting backwards over my back right shoulder. Then my next exhale, I begin to release that with my head turning, shoulders, ribs, and then my waist. And then go ahead and take yourself, if this is comfortable, to sit in an easy pose. And this is also where some people sit on a block or a blanket, but find what's comfortable for you. You're a pretty amazing woman, 61 years old, and all that you're doing. I want you to know that. And these young kids of yours are keeping you very young and youthful in your spirit, in your body, in your mind, in your all of that. So stick with it, and you're going to live to be 111. So, all right. Yeah. So go ahead and take our hands towards our heart center, knowing that we were very kind to ourselves during this practice. we were able to come to a more balance with our breath, with restorative poses, with some breath, with movement, with some twisting to get those twists into our belly area that is also churning when we're under stress. So very personalized for you and what you're going through, and it really helped me too. So I just want to say what Namaste means is that I honor the place in you where the universe dwells. I honor that place in you where there is love, light, peace, and joy. For when you are in that place in you, Miss Rose, and I am in that place in me, Miss Julie, we are one, even if it is in this Zoom virtual manner. From my heart to yours, thank you for being here. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you for being here. I feel bad because I feel like I don't pay enough for all these classes.
Oh my gosh, no, don't think that at all. This is excellent this is my dog. I guess Mark thought it was time to let him out.
No, he's great. He's great.
Better go out, he might have to pee. 6:31.